Opportunity employer. Welcome to the 104th Santa Claus Parade. Brought to you by Southside Bank, with 5 convenient locations to serve you on Southwest Adams, West Peoria, at North Point, Bartonville, and our new Chillicothe facility.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 104th Annual Central Illinois Santa Claus Parade. A great day for the parade. A little windy, but it's wonderful downtown today.
It sure is. In fact, 2 years ago, Diane, we were sitting here with 70 degrees. Today, 58 degrees, but I don't think anybody's complaining. In fact, one of the bigger crowds that I've seen today. We've got 87 units. We have some 14 marching bands and all kinds of new entries, so we hope that you'll stay with us for this telecast today.
Of course, Mayor Jim Maloof, one of our dignitaries today, also the essay contest winners from District located right across from the Civic Center down here on Jefferson Street. And we have something new for you this year, an aerial camera. That's where Bob wanted to be.
Yeah, right. Not hardly. Jim Snyder is sitting up there several feet off the ground, and I think you'll get a very good perspective of our floats and our marching units as they come by our vantage point here on Jefferson this morning.
This is the 34th consecutive year that Southside Bank and Channel 31 are bringing the parade right to our viewers who are sitting in their living rooms today.
And right now, Southside Bank President Bob Denton and everyone at the bank would like to share with you this very special holiday message.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 104th Annual Santa Parade. The folks at the Southside Bank take great pride in bringing you this telecast. Well, for those of you who saw me here last year, I don't have much new to tell you about the Southside Bank. We haven't moved our offices. We haven't changed our name. Most of the folks who gave you the great service before are still at their posts. If you're an ambassador for some foreign country and want to borrow money, don't bother coming to the Southside Bank to apply, because our money is reserved for the folks in the neighborhood. But if you're a businessman in the Tri-County area, or if you need money for a house, a car, or a boat, or just about anything else, visit one of our convenient locations. Our main office on South Adams Street, a convenient branch in West Peoria, Bartonville, North Point Shopping Center, or Chillicothe. The Southside Bank is a good, safe place to put your money, and be assured it will stay here in the area. And your deposits are insured by the FDIC. So whatever your banking needs, come on in and see us. We'll have the light on for you. Now let's all welcome Santa.
Well, you know, each year we have a theme for this parade, Diane, and this year it's Magical Memories of Christmas, and I think we all have those, don't we?
We sure do. And the parade route this year is going to follow a familiar one. Starts on Monroe to Hancock, goes to Main Street, to Jefferson, to Harrison, then on to Adams. And, of course, everything ends at the Courthouse Plaza. And once again this year, Mayor Maloof will be over there. They will be lighting the traditional Courthouse Plaza lights, and there will be a lot of excitement. I think old St. Nick is even going to plan to say a few words to all the youngsters who will be gathered over there as well.
You know, Macy's parade that was on yesterday was 65 years old. I noticed that, and we ran a story about that. But this is the oldest and longest continuing parade in the nation, 104 years, and we're very proud of that.
And there are lots and lots of people who started assembling down here at about 8:30 this morning to get their choice spot to welcome the Central Illinois Santa Claus Parade to Peoria. And the Peoria Police Department, as they do each and every year, really gets the parade off and rolling.
Boy, they sure do. And in fact, I think we have a bigger crowd this year than we've had in the past couple of years because people are taking advantage of this nice weather.
There are a lot of people down here just in sweatshirts. I even saw one fellow who had shorts on.
I think that was pushing it.
I hope he brought a pair of jogging pants with him or something. He may need it. It's just a little bit windy, but it's a perfect day to bring the kids down, and there are lots of youngsters. And something else we're seeing this year, too, Bob, that we haven't seen that much in the past, generally because it's been too darn cold. But people have brought their lawn chairs. Lawn chairs all over downtown Peoria.
Yeah, usually they want to be up and moving their feet around a little bit because you need to do that to keep warm, but this year not quite the way. Anyway, the Peoria Police are men and women in blue, as they have done for the last 104 years, starting our parade. And we like to also tip a hat to them because, obviously, without them, the crowd control would be a problem as well. So we thank them for many things involved in this parade, not only leading it, but also taking care of crowd control.
And the Park Police are with us this year, riding their motorcycles. Not a bad day to ride motorcycles, is it, Bob?
No, that's for sure. Coming up next, the Notre Dame cheerleaders from Notre Dame High School, our friends there at Glen and Sheridan, and they are looking dapper today. As I said, this is going to be kind of a nice parade for many of the marching units, and especially the young ladies that will be out, marching today because not so cold.
Not cold at all. And even though it is a little bit breezy right here where we are sitting, I think, too, we might be getting a little bit more wind than anybody else being up in the air, because if you look down on the streets, it doesn't look nearly as breezy. So they're not going to be marching fast to stay warm this year. They might be marching fast to strut their stuff.
Of course, the Notre Dame people would say that they have the luck of the Irish today, and that's why the weather's cooperating, see.
That's true. That's true.
You know, a lot of people don't know that this parade actually started because of the construction of a new bridge over the Illinois River was the real reason that they first celebrated this thing.
You know, they could have a parade on the river today, Bob. I know a lot of voters that love to get out there and come on down the river. The Peoria Police and Fire Color Guard, as they do each and every year for us. Detective Terry Pyatt from the Peoria Police Department is coordinator. Engineer Greg Waters from the Peoria Fire Department is also very instrumental as well. Over 30 years these gentlemen have been in the parade. We welcome them back each and every year.
And of course, we also honor the men and women in the armed forces and military forces, the American Legion Color Guard coming into view right there as well. And as I say, what with the Persian Gulf War having ended, and we are thankful that all of our men and women got back safely, that obviously this is a very special year for us as well.
And coming into view now, the Coast Guard Ceremonial Honor Guard. The Coast Guard recruiters here in Peoria. Paul Boyer is the supervisor of the recruiters. Chad George is with us today, as is Don Burnham and Robert Jerrigan and Robert Cook, and also some honor members. Wow.
We got a little salute.
Oh, yeah. It's nice to have the U.S. Coast Guard with us this year in the Central Illinois Santa Claus Parade.
That probably
more fireworks down here on
I probably woke a few
Jefferson Street than we've had in the past years, Bob.
Woke a few of the folks up. We want to mention that our good friends at Southside Bank, of course, this is now the 34th year in a row, Diane, that they have brought us the telecast, and we thank them very, very much. The Ward family, of course, always been very supportive of this parade, and we, of course, appreciate their support here on Channel 31.
We also appreciate everything our engineering staff does as well in order to make sure that we can bring you this parade like we have done for the past 34 years.
Our first band coming up into view, Diane, and this is the Viking Marching Band from our good friends just not far from the station, really, the Von Steuben Middle School, and they are known as the Pride of Forest Hill Avenue. They're one of 15 middle schools in the Peoria Public District 150 school system. By the way, they have won several honors, won first place honors in the junior high division in last year's parade. And by the way, this group is a great example of students, parents, and staff working together for positive results. Let's give them a listen.
Von Steuben Vikings, guys. It's a great school.
Applause from the crowd assembled here by our reviewing stand. And of course, all of these bands will be judged throughout the parade. And if you've ever had a youngster who has played in a high school or a grade school band and has marched in this parade, you know how much this means to these kids to win this. This is really such an honor.
Well, you know, Diane, this is a Central Illinois Santa Parade, and we will have not only Peoria area bands, but bands from all over the area. In fact, one will be coming up from Northwest Illinois.
Right, not too far from Rockford.
Yeah,
first time
which is a first.
Joining us today, and we sure like to see that. Here's a friendly face. I know Bob knows this guy personally. Ronald Mcdonald.
That's right, our good friends from Graham Restaurants, who, by the way, will be helping us out for the Share the Spirit party that we will have right behind us in the Civic Center next month. We thank them, and we thank Ronald as well from McDonald's for being with us again today. I think all the kids know Ronald McDonald.
Everybody knows Ronald McDonald, and it sure is nice to have him as our Grand Marshal this year in the parade. All the kids trying to get Ronald's attention right here in front of us, Bob. And he spots them all. Ronald. He spots the big kids, too.
He's going to be a busy man over the next month, as I said, taking part in many functions around the Peoria area.
As we mentioned earlier, other honorees today in the parade are the essay contest winners from District 150 schools. And we're very pleased to have them with us this year. 12 winners, first grade through the 8th grade. And there he is, Mayor Malou.
Hello, Mayor. There he is. He wanted us to give, we got to say this, we were coming down here and he wanted to ask us if we'd give him a ride over to where the parade started. I think he didn't want to wear his feet out.
Well, I'm not quite sure how he got there, but somebody else must have picked him up.
Well, anyway, I wasn't very good at writing essays, and so I congratulate anybody that was a good essay writer. That was always difficult for me when I was in school.
Yes, and they worked very hard. They're going to be doing a lot more public events. We just want to honor them here. It's Winston Gold, Shallon McIntosh, Eric Allen, Jessica Dwyer, Tyler Atkinson, Jamie Juarez, Rebel Watson, Ashley Weaver, Dana Vitus, Sumner Dwyer, Angela Frank, and Addie Bennett.
And we just saw Shelley Fox, Miss Peoria area from 91. She's from Pekin, Illinois, and she looked beautiful today. So from Mr. Mayor to Miss Peoria area. The Constaga wagon from Silco, and this is the local Girl Scout troop here. A lot of youngsters there today. And coming up next, another band from our area. This is the Roosevelt Magnet Marching Band from Roosevelt Magnet School. Let's give them a listen. Roosevelt Magnet School has received 3rd place this year in the Toluca Labor Day Parade, and the only band in the Peoria 4th of July Parade honoring our country servicemen and women.
They really have an excellent sound, Bob, and I know for these youngsters, this is really a treat for them to be in the Central Illinois Santa Claus Parade. We also want to thank Whistle Tree Service from Tremont, Illinois, for joining us here today at the Santa Claus Parade.
That's for sure.
That's where Bob wanted to sit and call the parade today.
Never.
But wasn't allowed to do that.
Each band, of course, trying to get us into that Christmas spirit. Each band that has gone by so far with a traditional Christmas tune. And again, we appreciate all of these young people who are taking their time today to entertain us.
6th, 7th, and 8th graders.
For sure. Diane, this looks like a walking Christmas tree coming up here. These are called...
This is quite a Christmas tree, isn't it, Bob?
That's for sure. The memorable ornaments of parade. It's the Peoria Lawn and Grill team, as they call themselves. Who's in there?
They have a good time. Let's see if we can pick some of our friends out. I think Dave Kaler should be in there somewhere. Rob Parks from the Chamber of Commerce. Cheryl Bunn. Now, where's Cheryl Bunn? Cheryl...
oh, there she is.
Back at the station with us, and I might also tell you she is an excellent cook, and if you ever want to take cooking lessons, have Cheryl give you the lessons. Deb Richell's supposed to be in there somewhere. KZ93, somebody from KZ's in there. Can't tell with the buckets over their heads.
It's kind of hard. There are a few people laughing here because obviously they are a sight to see, aren't they?
Oh, they really are fun. It's their 4th parade, and they say this year somehow, and who knows, we don't know who's won yet, but they say they plan to take home the Best Novelty Unit Award. They are really really a crowd pleaser here.
I don't know what the judges think, but at least the crowd thinks they're pretty good. Well, coming up next, of course, the Shriners, as you well know, do so many great things, Diane. And the Shrine Color Guard from Mohammed Temple Shrine is with us again this year, and we are pleased to have them. Noble Thorne is from Toulon, Illinois, and he's the Legion of Honor Noble Captain. And we appreciate he and his 20-man crew, who, of course, are here today carrying some 10 flags.
In order to be a member of the Shrine and a veteran of the Armed Forces, to be here in this Legion of Honor that has joined us here today for the Santa Claus Parade. Very pleased to have them, and as we said, they do so many things for this community all around central Illinois. They are always marching in parades. Seems like 12 months out of the year, somebody's got a parade and they're all going.
And it wouldn't be a parade without those clowns either. There's the Shrine Clowns from the Mohammed Temple Shrine as well. Now, there's about 15 of them out there. I think President John Ross is out there somewhere, and Dick Lauterbach. And the clowns, by the way, let's see if we can name all of them. Chips, Ollie, Brush, Jingles. Is that Smokey?
I think that's supposed to be Smokey. Muggs, Hot Wires. Hot Wires was here last year. I remember him. Red, Goody, Termites out there someplace.
Uh-oh, and we...
Clipper.
And one of them has a camera. I guess he's taking pictures of us while we take pictures of him. There he is. I don't know if we got that.
That Sawhorse or Yo-Yo, huh? But they really do a tremendous job. And, of course, they spend an awful lot of time, too, going around to the area hospitals here in Peoria and Pekin once a month to spread laughter and joy to the youngsters who are hospitalized. They do a tremendous public service, and we are always happy to have them in the parade.
You know, their motto is, strong legs run that weak legs may walk. I never stood so tall until I stooped to help a crippled child. And they certainly stand pretty tall in our book this morning.
They sure do. And the amount of their own personal time that these gentlemen give so that they may help others in the community is really something. I know several of the people that are in the Shrine now, and I'm just always amazed at how unselfish they are when it comes to giving their time at various events, weekends, that sort of thing. They really do a beautiful job.
Well, we wanted to mention as well that this is the 34th year that our good friends at Southside Bank have brought you the parade, and season's greetings from all of our friends from Southside Bank.
Didn't have to worry about getting their hats wet today, did they? I see one, though,
sure.
that brought the plastic along just in case it started pouring down, and it sure doesn't look like it, Bob, at all. I think we're going to get through this parade with no rain.
I hope we get through the whole holiday, as it says here, a crime-free holiday. I think that's the wish of all of us. And coming up next, the Crime Stoppers unit. They have been with us for several years. Last year, they received first place in the most creative category in the Pekin Christmas Parade. And so we are glad to have them back as well. Of course, the Crime Stoppers have been a big plus since the whole program began several years ago in the Peoria, Pekin areas for stomping out crime and, of course, doing it anonymously.
They sure do. Nice float. There's even a little smoke coming out of the chimney there.
That's Mr. McGruff, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's who that is.
Well, I'll tell you what, coming up next, a little bit more music to entertain you on this 104th Santa Claus Parade as the Pioneer Junior High School Panthers Band comes into view from Dunlap, Illinois.
About 75 youngsters marching with us today. They're 7th and 8th graders. Band director is Bill Boer and Dave Kaiser, and the principal is Harvey Varnes. Let's give them a listen.
Getting a nice round of applause from the crowd that is assembled downtown here in Peoria today.
11th year they've been with us, and I'm sure we'll see and hear from them again in the future. Here's wishing you and your family a very healthy and happy holiday from all of us.
You know, Diane, this is also, of course, the tricentennial. I know that because I rode down the river, or paddled down the river. And this is, of course, the Tricentennial, our 300th anniversary or birthday, Peoria in 1691 Foundation. And this is their unit here in the parade today.
They spent a lot of time working on this float. As a matter of fact, one of the young ladies who worked on it came by and wanted to know if we knew yet who won all the awards, because they were sure hoping that they would go home with an award today. Very, very nice looking float. These children are volunteers who are working on the Tricentennial, the year-long celebration. It's an authentic dugout canoe on loan there on their float. Peoria Historical Society was nice enough to loan it to them today. Very nice.
And coming up, of course, next after the Historical Society there is our good friends from the Dental Society, from one society to the other. That's what I always say. There it is, the Peoria Dental Society, as they, of course, are here.
Super toothbrush out there, I believe, isn't it? Is that Dr. Gerald Corey driving?
I think so. Dr. Thompson is out there as well.
Yes.
Mrs. Diana Coury.
And the giant toothbrushes and toothpastes are also coming along with us today. Those Christmas costumes they've got on this year, Bob, are brand new. They were with us last year. Kids really got a big kick out of seeing the big, gigantic toothbrush.
By the way, the puppets used are from the show given by the Dental Auxiliary to over some 5,000 area children. So again, the Dental Society very active.
And the Concordia Lutheran Grade School Band. What can we say? 120 in this group. They have been with us now 21 consecutive years. Marching band includes 43 new beginners marching with their instruments for the very, very first time. And this band is always on the go. Last year they were at the National Cherry Blossom Parade in Washington, D.C., the Pumpkin Festival, Veterans Day Parade. Just an outstanding group of young people, very, very dedicated, and they've been award winners here in this parade before. Let's give them a listen. Was the Peoria Concordia Lutheran Band, and we were tickled to have them with us again this year in the 104th Santa Parade. Goldilocks and the Three Bears back in the parade again this year. This float sponsored by the Peoria Area Community Events Group that do so much to help organize the Santa Claus Parade. Recognize Goldilocks?
Yeah, I think I do. In fact, that's Jennifer McLemore, isn't it?
Yeah, I think there's Jennifer. Yeah, she's waving to everyone in the crowd. Looks like she's got the Three Bears under control today.
Beautiful
Having
float.
a good time.
At least this year, as I said, for the youngsters that are on these floats, not too bad.
That's true. That's true. And throughout the parade, you see some little characters marching by, the walking characters, paper mache, that sort of things. All of these young people are from Manual High School, Notre Dame, and Father Sweeney School. We thank them for being with us today.
You talk about memories, Diane, memories of 100 years. This is the Salvation Army. What can we say about them? They are always active and doing many things all year round, and will be helping us with our Share the Spirit campaign. They, Brass Ensemble, Sam and Gretchen Amick are portraying bell ringers from the past in the celebration of the 100th anniversary of the Salvation Army Kettle.
They are dressed as the Salvation Army officers ringing bells at the kettle. And when you see these people around in various places in town, we encourage you to drop a donation in. Getting some of our other friends coming along here. My goodness.
This is Mistletoe and Friends.
And friends, and little Jack in the Box there. My goodness, look at the little gal. See if she'll come back out for us. But a lot of Earth buddies walking through the parade here today.
I think Sandy and Connie, Kathy, Jim, Leah, Heather, and Mary Lou are making a part of that unit today as they walk down the street here on Jefferson by our vantage point.
Last year, first place in the novelty unit division here in the Central Illinois Santa Claus Parade, and I think you can you can see why. The judges are going to have a tough time today, Bob.
Yeah, that's for sure. And, of course, we want to remind everybody to have a beautiful holiday and happy holidays from our good friends down at the Southside Bank.
Federal companies with us again this year. All ages here. Well, there's a little 3-year-old there. I think she just lost her bonnet, but I think somebody's going to help her get that put back on. A Model A Ford, the 1930 delivery sedan theme. They are also delivering a very, very special delivery of presents this year. Neat.
You know, I think I saw that delivery van when we were over at the Pekin Christmas Parade just about a week ago. They had that in the parade there. So it's making the rounds this year.
It
but
sure is.
For those that maybe weren't around then, that's the way it looked.
That's the way it was.
Coming up next, one of the 14 marching bands, and from our friends to the southwest of here, the Havana High School Marching Band. They have been with us for several years. The band director, George Caton, and, of course, drum section leader, Tony Smith, and the entire ensemble. There's about 70 here that make up the high school band. They continue their long tradition of marching in the Santa Parade, and the band has won many awards. 6th place in the state Fair Parade, 1st place in the Griggsville Apple Festival Parade. They also took honors as 1st place winners in the Illinois College Homecoming Parade. Let's give them a listen.
Havana High School Marching Band a warm round of applause. And for all of you people that will be at the Bradley game on December the 21st, this band will be performing at the basketball game that night.
And I can understand why they invited them, too. But again, one of the many great bands that we have, and we're just so pleased that we can have them with us each and every year because these are all award-winning bands.
I wouldn't want to be a judge this year, Bob. The bands just get better and better every year.
Well,
and another one of our characters marching down the street here. Can't really tell who that is, but I'll bet you that might be somebody from Manual High School in there.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see underneath the mask there, I think. Also, our friends from Notre Dame High School and Father Sweeney School. The youngsters from that, both of those schools, are also helping to participate in our parade by getting underneath some of those walking heads, as we call them.
And the kids really like those along the parade route. They wander over, they can shake hands. They really get a big kick out of that.
Diane, it's time to jump on board the children's train from St. Francis Medical Center. And, of course, this train represents the Children's Miracle Network, and they do so many great things. The train with the engine, the coal car, and the passenger car, and some smiling faces.
Yeah, a lot of smiling faces on board the train today. That really is cute, good looking. A lot of these floats, you can tell, have been painted up. A lot of them have new pedal paper on them. Lots of improvements this year.
Yeah, it is beautiful. As I said, you know, if you've never put a float together, and I have, but it's been many years ago, you really can't appreciate how much work actually goes into it.
There's a lot of work that goes into these. Lots and lots and lots of work that goes into them. Southside Bank wishes you and your family a very wonderful holiday season.
Well, you know what? I think, is that Little Miss and Mr. Marigold from Pekin Marigold Festival?
I think that's exactly who that is. I think Shannon Tebben is in there, too, is Miss Marigold. Beautiful carriage, isn't that lovely?
And of course, we have Jared Flynn, who's 6 years old, and
Shayna Snyder, 8 years old, is Little Miss Marigold. Nice to have them with us this year at the Central Illinois Santa Parade.
Also, we almost forgot our friends with us each year, Old Woman in the Shoe from the Telephone Pioneers of America. Terry Alexander is the Old Woman in the Shoe, and all the employees of Illinois Bell also on that particular float.
This is the 80th anniversary of the Telephone Pioneers. And boy, you want to talk about another group that has done an awful lot as far as community service is concerned. The Telephone Pioneers certainly do a tremendous amount.
But I think this person here takes the honors as oldest member of the parade.
I think you're right. Even older than I am, Bob.
How old would that be, Diane?
Well,
anyway?
let's see. I think this is about 5 billion years old. Is
I would
best
say.
I can figure it. My computer quit on me when I was trying to determine just exactly how old Saluna is, but Saluna was created out of a cosmic cloud of dust and gas about 5 billion years ago. But I also heard, though, it didn't land in Peoria until 1982, so I don't know where it was for all that amount of time.
Let's welcome for the first time the Roanoke Benson Marching Band from Roanoke, Benson, Illinois. And boy, they're getting a nice hand from the crowd as they march by our vantage point. Let's give them a listen.
Nice sound. This is the newest band that we have here in the Central Illinois Santa Claus Parade. And Bob, this band was formed just 6 years ago.
Wow.
And it's the third year now that they've been marching as a high school unit. So we welcome the young people from Roanoke, Benson to the Central Illinois Santa Claus Parade.
I think we know who's coming up next. This looks like Winnie the Pooh.
Ooh, Peoria Park District is back with us again this year. I think the Tigers supposedly on board there, Rabbit, Pooh, and Piglet.
I think we see David and Alicia and Frank, and also the Piglet is from, what, Gamma Phi Beta member.
That's right. Southside Bank would like to congratulate all the hard workers who put in all their time for this year's Santa Claus Parade. And you can tell a lot of hard work went into this year's parade, Bob.
You know, we've always said this, and we've said it many times as we take a look at our Pooh characters there. But, you know, we like to have big crowds because I think that adds to the spirit of the whole thing. I mean, we appreciate everybody that watches at home, but I think it's important to have the crowd right down here on the street as much as we can. And certainly we have to tip our hat to Roley because he's done a good job of keeping the rain away today.
It really is not bad at all. As a matter of fact, I think the wind has even died down just a little bit, and the kids along the sidewalks today, you know, some of them don't even have their coats buttoned at this point. It might be getting just a little bit warmer, but it certainly is a great day to bring the kids down instead of being so cold as it's been in the past couple of years.
Boy, that's for sure. Coming up next will be Little Miss Firecrackers, and from East Peoria. And by the way, the 1990 Little Miss Firecracker is Cody Swibold, and the 1991 reigning Little Miss Firecracker is none other than, it looks like Kayla Swanson.
Kayla Swanson is the reigning Little Miss Firecracker. Isn't that cute?
Yeah, it sure is.
Tell you, these little gals, they worked hard, though, for this honor. The Miss Firecracker contest is sponsored by the East Peoria JCs to offset the cost of their fireworks. These young ladies earn their crown, Bob, by going door to door, having bake sales, placing canisters, that sort of thing.
Another fine example of our young people here in Central Illinois. We hear so much negative, and this is a chance for us to parade all the good people that certainly we have in our area.
And speaking of friends, the Friendship House is with us again this year. 23 young people marching with us today, ages 11 to about 16 years old. Cheryl Dudley, of course, is the executive director. Liberta Lewis, program coordinator. Chantal Kelly is the leader, the choreographer here. Students at Woodruff High School, I should say, are juniors. Pom-pom units, they've got a lot of people who work very hard. They developed as a part of the Friendship House, Bob, after school programs and activities to motivate the young ladies for the high school pom-pom and cheerleading squads, as well as doing the same thing for the Friendship House.
And you have to keep your grades up to be in this, too,
You sure do. You have to have at least a C average to be on the pom-poms or to participate in the after-school program tutoring. There's also several honor roll students there, and we certainly are glad to have them with us this year.
Yeah, boy, that is for sure. There is a nice aerial shot from high above Jefferson from Jim Snyder, one of our 3 cameramen today. And this is a nice perspective.
It sure is. Whistle's Tree Service from Tremont is giving us a tremendous amount of help this year. We certainly appreciate their time and their efforts.
Mr. Jim, who's always up there and is always a rock of Gibraltar. I mean, this guy never gets shook by anything. Even with a 20-mile-an-hour wind, the man's up there 30, 40 feet up into the air, and it doesn't bother him a bit.
I would imagine, though, if it were 15 below zero, he'd not be having quite as good of a time as he's having up there today.
I hope that your color set is tuned in real well, because the bright reds and whites here are something to see from the Peoria Friendship House. As I said, this is a good way. If you are wondering about tuning your set, this is a good way to tune it. That is bright red, my friends.
Bright red, you got that right. They're doing a little routine here that they've spent many, many hours practicing. Practice, of course, makes perfect.
You know, on a day when the weather might not be quite so cooperative, obviously they might march right on by, but today I think they're all taking advantage of the nice weather to kind of strut their stuff as they go down the street. And I don't really blame them, because about every 3 or 4 years we do get a very cold snap through here, and then everybody wants to march just as quickly as they can, and I can't really blame them. But this year they're all bundled up, and everybody was prepared for this particular parade. It had been forecast that temperatures would be in the 50s or whatever, and the weatherman has come through, and so really this is not a bad year for the folks to be out here.
Not at all. And the young ladies from the Peoria Friendship House getting a nice round of applause as they pass by our television cameras.
Let's remind everybody again that Southside Bank extends to you and yours a very, very Merry Christmas.
Lots of other little characters wandering down the streets of Peoria today. Looks like the telephone gift box.
Is he who's driving that car? I don't think he's really driving.
Not remote control. No, I think he's got a helper in there somewhere.
I see. Okay. I was going to say he's the youngest driver on Jefferson Street. I got news for you. This, of course,
that's cute.
From the Peoria Disposal Company, and we're glad to have them as part of our 104th parade as well today. Actually, that's Ted Turner, I think, somewhere in there. Ted Turner put in many hours of his own time in this project. It's the mini garbage truck, Diane.
The mini garbage truck. Larry Stettler is walking alongside as well. I think he's the guy with the bright pink glasses on, handing out some candy to the kids along the parade route today. Kids are having fun.
And coming up next, of course, it looks like, is that Little Red Riding Hood? I think it is.
Sponsored by the Community Events Council again, and Kelly Thomas has the honors this year of portraying Little Miss Red Riding Hood. She's on her way to Grandma's house, I guess, and if we look closely, we might see if whether or not the Big Bad Wolf is behind her again this year.
I hope he isn't.
Oops, he is, but he's lagging way far
way
behind.
I don't think she has anything to worry about.
Anything to worry about at all this year.
The wolf. Well,
there he is.
The kids are making sure that the Bad Wolf has their attention so that Little Red Riding Hood can get to where she's going.
Again, these characters wandering down the streets are passing out candy and gum, that sort of things, and stopping along the parade route to chat with the youngsters. Kids get a big kick out of that. Another gorgeous carriage coming through here. The Nutcracker.
Yep, that's for sure.
Isn't that beautiful?
And of course, coming up next, the Tricentennial Playground, Build a Child's Dream, and about 150 people involved in this. General coordinator is Terry Hardesty, and this float depicts the helping hands of the community opening the gift of a disassembled playground in the foreground. The volunteer elves, by the way, are unloading construction materials, while at the back of the float, the elves are building and playing on a model of the Tricentennial Playground.
This is a real crowd pleaser. They're getting a big hand as they come by here, Build a Child's Dream, and remember the magic. These kids are really going to have quite a playground, Bob, when this is done. This is really an unusual event. I think it's really going to be neat.
One thing they don't lack is enthusiasm.
That's true. That is true. And the Marching Mallards from Henry Senachwine High School joins us once again this year. They've been with us for many, many, many years. About 60 members of the band this year, Bob, wearing their brand new uniforms. They just bought these last fall, red, white, and black colors. Beautiful, beautiful uniforms. Let's give them a listen.
Henry Senachwine High School Marching Band.
Getting a nice round of applause.
The Marching Mallards, Henry Senachwine High School. This is the 10th anniversary that they've marched in the Central Illinois Christmas Parade. Made their first debut in 1981. Pleased to have them back again with us this year.
Diane, we didn't want to shortchange the Peoria Nutcracker Ballet. They kind of snuck in there with Red Riding Hood, and we did want to mention that, of course, the ballet, the most popular holiday family ballet internationally, about 5,000 performed nationally, and we appreciate they and their unit being with us today.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all of our viewers out there today from your friends at the Southside Bank.
Look at this, and this moves, too. One of the many units that actually move and turn and all that kind of thing, and boy, are they dressed to the hilt, aren't they?
They sure are. Little tuxedos on there, compliments of Ducky's formal wear. Looks like Gigi, Gloria, huh? Yeah, that's Gigi up there. The horsemen, Zach, Drew, Gabe, Christopher, and Kyler.
That, of course, the Cinderella float, and, of course, Cinderella being the prettiest girl at the ball.
And again, some more of our novelty units are moving through right now. Some of these are novel, Bob. But they are cute. The kids at least know who each and every one of the novelty units
They get hold of the guy in the
I haven't watched cartoons in a while, so I guess they know who they are, though. Caterpillar Clowns are with us this year. Quite a few of them marching here. We've got big clowns, little clowns, and a lot of clown helpers.
Boy, there sure are, and I think parade would not be a parade without the clowns, and Caterpillar clowns have certainly been with us now for the last several years, and we appreciate that. There's even a few little clowns there.
Yeah.
I mean, real little clowns.
They're starting out younger and younger every year, Bob. Merry Christmas from everybody down at the Southside Bank's main bank, Bob.
Yep, and we appreciate them being part of our telecast for the last 34 years.
Beautiful limousine here pulling into view.
Some pretty young ladies.
River Girls are on there today. Of course, they do so much at the Peoria Rivermen game. Very pleased to have them with us here today in the parade. Can't do too much cheerleading, though, in a 30-foot-long white Lincoln Town Car, can you, Bob? But
no, not
at least
really.
It's quite a comfortable ride.
But what a classy way to go down Jefferson.
That is true. That is true. Casano Limo Service providing that today.
Coming up next, Diane, boy, we're going to go back a few years in time. This is the fire engine. Now, last year they had the 1948 fire engine. This year, we're going back 10 more years, 1938, in case you didn't know what year this was. This is Adopt-A School. Of course, this is a member of the Richwoods Student Council who are riding here, who is Proctor's Adopt-A School partner. They're carrying the partnership banner, and Proctor Hospital employees, Proctor First Care employees, and their families are riding on this old fire engine.
And that fire engine is loaded down today.
Boy, it still has a good sound to it, doesn't it?
It sure does. 1938. I wonder what they'll come up with next year.
I don't know. I don't know how far back they can go. 48, 38. I don't know if they have something from 28. What do you think?
Well, I guess we'll wait till next year and find out. Marching Hilltoppers from Sparland are with us this year. 45 young people in this group. Casey Scott and Jennifer Nosinger, the drum majors this year. The junior high rep is Missy Wood. Band director is Stephanie Ackright. Red jackets, black pants. This is the combined, Bob, the combined junior and junior high school and the high school bands.
So they are, they all practice together.
They sure do. And again, a wide range of ages here, 6th grade through the 12th. Give them a listen. Hilltoppers getting a nice round of applause as they pass in front of the Civic Center. We are where our cameras are located, 3 cameras this year. Of course, you're getting an aerial view every so often.
About, I don't know, a few months ago, I had the privilege of going up to Sparland and talking to a group of the students up there. They have a great school up there and just a great bunch of kids. It was a career day type thing, and so we had a lot of fun talking to them.
Spiffy looking outfits, aren't they?
They sure are.
These youngsters spend a lot of time practicing. A lot of us, we can't chew gum and walk at the same time, and here they are playing musical instruments, marching and doing formations.
Getting a nice round of applause,
too. They deserve a lot of credit for the extra work they put in after school hours.
Well, I hope with this warm weather that this guy doesn't melt before he gets through the parade.
We normally never have to worry about that, do we?
Boy, that's for sure.
Frosty the Snowman is with us. Angie Adams, I believe, is on there. Megan, Heather, Amanda, Mia as well. Everybody enjoying their ride today under sunny skies. And if you notice, just as old Frosty turned the corner, the sun came out. It did.
Yeah, I know.
Whoa, the sun is shining once again.
Somehow I think he'll get through the parade, but there's plenty of winter left, so I think he's got a long lifespan ahead of him.
That's true. That is true.
Well, let's remind
the youngsters along the parade route.
Boy, they sure are. Look at how they're really enjoying themselves there. Let's remind you once again that our good friends at Southside Bank wishing you and your family a wonderful holiday season.
And of course, WTVP. That's Channel 47. Everybody knows Channel 47 here in the Peoria area. GP Transit TV bus. Looks like a few characters from Sesame Street on board that.
Boy.
The kids, boy, they're responding to those characters, aren't they, Bob?
They sure are. And of course, WTVP and GP Transit saluting Peoria as we celebrate our tricentennial, our 300th birthday. Last year, they both celebrated 20 years of service to Central Illinois, and this year they congratulate Peoria on its birthday with a very special present.
Kids are getting a big kick out of that. Big Bird was hanging out of the bus on my side over here.
Now, remember earlier I said we had a band that was a brand new one that came from way up north.
They sure did. This is the Oregon High Hawkettes. Oregon High School, Oregon's up around the Rockford area. 14 young people came all the way down here today to be with us. 14 to 18 years old. Actually, there's 18 members. Only 14 of them could make it today, but boy, we're sure glad to have them with us.
No, I know you're up at 6 in the morning because you're at work at 6 in the morning, but I'm not anymore. And I'll tell you, anybody that practices anything at 6 in the morning has my undying respect.
You can swing by the station. There's a lot of us that's going at it.
I know.
At 6 o'clock. They do. They do a lot of activities up at their school. They also perform at all of the home Oregon Hawks football games, basketball games, of course. And they are the Mid-Northern Drill Team champions.
You can tell they do practice.
They sure do.
Well,
and they are really getting a nice, warm welcome here at their first appearance in the Central Illinois Santa Claus Parade. Hope they enjoy their day here and come back and join us again next year.
Yeah, you know, you consider this vacation for all of these young people, but especially when they come from that far away. I mean, this is a whole day for them.
Definitely is a whole day. And they're still strutting their stuff. They got quite a routine, I must say. And Mordew Moving and Storage is with us again this year. A child's surprise.
I think the driver and owner of that truck is Phil Grover and his wife Chris and son Tevin and daughter Michelle. And the banner carriers are Terry and Debbie and Joy Adams and Jacob and Brett Adams.
There's really a lot of work that has gone into this, too. I'll tell you, the float, it's on a flatbed trailer. It's got all kinds of presents and toys, and some youngsters are on board, a couple of jack-in-the-boxes there, go-karts, Raggedy Ann dolls marching alongside. And, you know, all of the people that work over at Mordew worked on the float this year, and they really have done an excellent job.
Boy, they sure have. Very colorful float.
It sure is. It sure is. The kids are getting a big kick out of this as well.
Well, we wish them well, as we do all of our units, of course, because as you may know or may not know, judges are very carefully looking over all of the units, and of course we'll be awarding the honors at the end of the parade.
That's right. Buckle Up Buckaroo coming into sight here. American Red Cross is sponsoring this year in cooperation with the Illinois Department of Transportation. Buckaroo wants to remind everybody that you're supposed to be buckling up.
Yes, I try to remember to do that all the time.
And the whale, I think, is that the whale with the buck?
I think you're right. I think so.
Yeah. Right there.
Longfellow whale, right?
That's the Longfellow whale. We don't see too many of those in the Illinois River, but that's a water safety mascot.
Our good friends from the north side of town, we have the privilege of now presenting the Woodruff High School Band Marching Warriors, and of course our good friend Mary Jo Papich is director of the bands. Let's give them a listen. What a great band.
absolutely outstanding. Woodruff High School Band is a 2-year grand champion of the Peoria Santa Claus Parade, and what you've just watched for the last couple of minutes, I think you know why. Bob, tomorrow this band's going to be heading up to Chicago. They're going to be performing in the Brock's Christmas Parade in Chicago. It will be broadcast tomorrow on Channel 9 at noontime, so this is kind of a warm-up, and I'll tell you, I watched a couple of parades yesterday, and I saw a lot of bands, and these kids, they just rank right up there with any marching unit I've seen anywhere. Mary Jo Pappy should be congratulated, and everybody that's associated, and I mean the moms and dads and everybody else that works so hard to make sure that these kids have the opportunity to do what they do, need to be congratulated.
And they've been traveling, too. I mean, you know, their list of honors goes on and on. They've been at the Peach Bowl Parade in years past. They were also performing for both Michael Dukakis and George Bush presidential campaigns. They've been down to Florida. You name it, they've been there.
They have just been everywhere. Just a tremendous group. We just can't say enough good about them. Southside Bank wishes you and yours a very warm holiday season. And some of our friends there from WHOI going by. Uh-oh. One weatherman to another. Here it comes.
Yes, our friends from 19 are here.
And they
pointed to the sky and said, yeah, the weather held, and they were right.
Out there, Brent Lontine. Nice to have them in the parade with us. That's a neat sleigh, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really nice. I wonder if they're going to take it out and try it later. Huh?
I wouldn't want to try it today. You want to wait another month or so to see what happens. Some more novelty units.
This one makes me hungry. Why is that? Because that's biscuit and gravy characters. That's why.
Biscuit and gravy. Compliments of Bob Evans. Cute. Kids liked that one too, didn't they?
Boy, another colorful float coming up here, too.
Oh, beautiful float. That's beautiful.
It looks like the bear has his hands in the honey jar there.
Yeah.
And, of course,
look at the parade. This is, of course, by Kroger, put together by the Washington Kroger store employees. Now, this took first place in its class in the parade for the last couple of years, and I really think you can see why. Boy, there is an awful lot of work on that. Big scissors and the bears and youngsters, all kinds of presents on there. Kids are really having a good time. Beautiful float.
Today it may be warm enough, Diane. I don't know. Now, I know Saturday you get a bath, but it may be warm enough for the 3 men in a tub who I think have been here for all 104 years.
At least. Woodsy Owl's been with us for probably 104 years, too. And look, he can still strut his stuff as he wanders on down the streets here today.
By the way...
But, yeah, you're right. I know it's probably been that many years.
There's Craig and Ty and Sean. That's the butcher, baker, and candlestick maker.
The 3 men in a tub.
And they got plenty of soap there, too. Okay, guys, lather up. It's not that bad out here. 58.
No, they're having a good time.
Well, they got enough room in there to lather up, too, don't they? Here's a reminder again that our good friends at Southside Bank wish you a very warm holiday season. And by the way, this is the 34th year in a row that they have brought this telecast.
And again, another one of our outstanding high school bands right here in the city of Peoria. This is, of course, Peoria High School, the Marching Lions. They've been selected to perform at the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee.
Wow.
This coming December the 26th, one of 8 bands nationwide. The only one from Illinois. Let's give them a listen.
Wife will be watching that band especially because I have to mention that's her alma mater.
That's her alma mater, and they're getting a very, very warm round of applause here. About 70 members in the band this year, Bob. 10 members of the flag group today, and their selection is called Carol of the Drum, based upon the little drummer boy. I also talked with the band director, Rudy Higgins, not too long ago. They were selling fruit to help offset the expenses of this trip to go down and play in the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee, the day after Christmas. And they will be performing during the halftime at that game. So big honor, very big honor for Peoria Central High School Marching Lions. We wish them the best in their next public appearance.
Well, I can say the city of Peoria has some great schools and certainly very competitive marching bands.
They sure do. Sure do.
Well, coming up next, Alice in Wonderland. And, of course, this is Ashley Luchik. And, of course, the Alice in Wonderland float has been with us for the last couple of years. And Alice, of course, giving us a little wave there. All decorated.
Very pretty.
Yeah, very shades of green there. Of course, Alice.
Just even have her jacket on. You really don't need it. It really is not at all bad down here today. And I think this is probably one of the larger groups that I have seen in the last couple of years, at least where we're broadcasting from. And I know as we were coming down this morning, lots and lots of people were already lined up. And our directors were telling us they were down here bright and early. By 8:30, there were a lot of people already here, brought the lawn chairs, had the youngsters, and we're just enjoying the weather because it just wasn't that bad at all.
That's for sure. Our good friends, and again, we'd like to tip our hat to the students from Manual and Notre Dame High Schools and from Father Sweeney School. They've been providing a lot of the walking characters that have been going by, Blue Smurf and various ones, but also, now we're not going to say the show is going to the dogs, but these are great dogs, dog trainers and dogs from the Peoria Obedience Training Club. Again, some of the brightest and best trained dogs in the area. Doris Himes is the coordinator, and Carlene Harper is the Santa Sheltie. And, boy, some really well-behaved dogs out there. And also brightly decorated, I might add,
That's true.
too.
Yeah, the dogs, every single one of them has something on, reds or greens. There's a Santa Claus suit, one over there. We've got a whole Santa suit on. Where they find those kinds of things.
The obedience trial champion, Windy Runs Zoc, will be participating. He has the highest obedience title possible.
This club's been around many, many, many years. Back in 1946, they got together and organized this group, and hundreds of dog handlers, probably more so than the dogs.
We've taken a couple of dogs out there for training as well, because if you do have a dog, and obviously if you have a house pet, you know, where they're going to be indoors, you need to have them trained properly, and so it's not a bad idea to go out and get them trained.
Yeah, nice to have them with us.
And coming up next, well, it looks like the Circus World.
Circus is coming to town as well today, Bob.
And, of course, this involves Sam and Alex Carter, I believe, are a couple of the clowns that we will see. There they are.
Pretty ferocious-looking animals in there.
Yeah, right in. They've thrown them right in there with the animals, huh?
But they're not having too tough of a time.
Maybe the Peoria Dog Obedience.
Well, that could be.
They
may have picked up a few tips from the obedience school here to keep everybody under control.
Very colorful float there.
Very colorful, real cute.
Float decorated in green, reds, and yellows today, and also a little bit of gold there in the back. And as I said, the youngsters having a good time as they wave to the crowd. And as I said, several thousand have lined up here in downtown Peoria today to see this 104th. I was going to say telecast. We haven't been around that long.
No, we haven't. Not for 104
continuous
years.
parade.
Some people may think that, but
even our own Charlie Tate, who's probably we kid about at the station, hasn't been around that long.
But for 34 years, though, we have telecasted in conjunction with Southside Bank, and it's really a pleasure to work with everybody at the bank again this year. And we want to thank you for your continued interest and support to make sure that everybody in Central Illinois that can't make it downtown can watch it from home. And
well,
of course, these clowns and their top hats, paper mache's, heads, kids really get a big kick out of this. And there's a lot of work that goes into making one of those, let me tell you. And we also appreciate the youngsters from Notre Dame High School, Manual, and Father Sweeney School for getting all decked out for us today in those heads.
Speaking of Notre Dame, who should appear about the Notre Dame Marching Band?
Christine Bandry is the director of the group this year. About 40 members comprise this band, and of course they're all in high school. Freshman through senior members.
I was just going to say, though, and I mentioned this, too, when we did this little promo on, or our little show on radio last weekend, the seniors in any of these bands were just being born the first year you and I did this parade. So let's give them a listen. Crowd giving the Peoria Notre Dame High School Marching Band a nice round of applause, the 40 freshmen through senior group, and of course we appreciate them being with us again this year as well.
Marching on down the street here, getting a nice round of applause. Merry Christmas from our Southside Banks Peoria facility. You know, there's one out in North Point as well, and also down in Bartonville. Everybody that works for the Southside Bank and all the various facilities wish you and yours a very happy holiday season.
I think this guy looks kind of familiar.
You recognize this fellow?
Yeah, and generally at noon he is doing the weather. Ladies and gentlemen, Chuck Collins from WMBD Radio and TV, and of course our Caterpillar reporter, and all-around great lady Yvonne Greer, who of course keeping us up to date with what's happening not only with Caterpillar but many other activities around the area.
I see
Yvonne there smiling and waving to the crowd, and Chuck has his umbrella opened up. Chuck, you don't have to have the umbrella, buddy. No rain today, no rain.
Bob Harston driving the car today. Thanks to Bob for doing that. I wonder who's holding down the fort now that Bob's down here driving the car.
I hope nothing happens at the studio.
If it happens, they'll just have to wait until after the parade is over.
Well, coming up next, of course, and we are tickled to death to have our good friends at Southside Bank not only sponsor our parade, but also sponsor another unit in our parade today, Santa's Magical Workshop.
All these little gnomes on here, Bob, all are mechanical moving figures, and that really takes a lot of work, let me tell you. And they really are just, they look like something that's just come right off the page of one of the children's books. These gnomes are just so well done. The kids are really, really liking this float. Isn't that neat?
And I'm glad they're going slow enough so people can actually watch all the movements involved in that. In fact, I think we should mention the bank was one of the big pushers of the fact when we had our 100th celebration that we were going to soup up some of the floats to make them movable. In other words, have moving parts in them and make them really special. And thanks to Southside Bank, of course, and we're looking at it right now, one of the more memorable moving floats.
Very, very, very colorful this year. I see Southside Bank employees also walking alongside there, passing out goodies to the kids that are lining the parade route. I don't see Pat, though. I thought for sure Pat would be wandering down the street here, passing out candy for the youngsters today.
Well, coming up next,
at home watching.
That's right. Coming up next, our good friends from the Peoria JCs who do so much in the community, and they say, remember your first sleigh ride? Yeah, it's been a few years, but I remember it, and these youngsters enjoying their sleigh ride today on the float. These are the Peoria Junior JCs carrying the banner, handing out candy. Float is towed by JC Paul Muscoop, and of course the 8-foot sleigh, very decorated today, very beautifully decorated, I should say.
About 60 man-hours to put something like this together, and boy, I believe it. And I would guess that probably means about 20 or 30 people working each 60 man-hours to put something like that together.
Wow, what a big sleigh, too. Huh?
Very colorful.
Also, we wanted to acknowledge the pony wagonette, Mr. and Mrs. Gary Schneider from Pekin, who are with us again. There they are right there. Gary and Zona Schneider and their niece Amanda. And that's a pony wagonette pulled by Daisy. And Daisy, by the way, is no spring chicken. She's an 11-year-old pony, but doing a good job.
And they built that themselves. Very, very, very nice. Good looking. Southside Bank wishing you and your family a very wonderful holiday season.
Diane, coming up next, we have another one of the 14 marching bands that will be part of our parade today. This is the Richwoods High School Band, who, of course, have been with us forever and ever and ever, and 106 members of the high school marching knights. The drum major is Louisa Brown and Eric Danelli. Also faculty sponsor Royalettes, Becky Meskimen, and the band director, of course, is Clark Christensen. And they are in their very colorful forest green and white uniforms. So let's give a listen to the award-winning Richwoods High School Marching Knights. Well, at least the weather cooperated for those drum majors, Louisa Brown and Erica Deloney, because, you know, they have to be out there leading the band in all kinds of weather.
A lot of youngsters, I believe, that go to Richwoods High School are close by our viewing stand today. Hear a lot of the kids down there yelling and hollering at the
You know, they've been in the parade since 1972, and they won, what, second place in Class AA last year.
Yeah, they've won several awards. And again, it just goes to show the outstanding competition and the outstanding spirit that you see in the, at least the four major schools here in Peoria, the public schools. They really work hard, and it is very competitive. They really enjoy coming down here and competing against their other friends, everybody hoping that this is the parade where they take first place.
Well, you know, and having spoken to many of the band directors around the area, you know, it is a difficult thing for them to decide, you know, which parades to be in and which not,
right,
because they can go to several of them, and sometimes you just have to say no because of time constraints or whatever. But I know they all try to, as hard as they can, be sure that they're in this one.
Be sure that they're in this one, too. Yeah, and of course, you know, kids out on holiday, and a lot of families maybe wanting to travel over the Thanksgiving weekend, and so a lot of these youngsters have made sacrifices in order to be here, to be in this particular parade. Jack and Jill. That's a pretty float, isn't it?
Oh, it sure
Very
is.
colorful.
And of
Students,
course,
Manual High School in Notre Dame again, Father Sweeney School. Always glad to have them with us.
the Ransom of Red Chief, the Community Children's Theater here in Peoria, is coming up next. And of course, the theme this year again is the magical memories of Christmases past, and they are keeping right with that motto this particular year. There's all kinds of people on side or on top of that float, and I don't know if I can get to everybody, but we'll say Corey's up there, and Nathaniel, and Katie, and Stephanie, and I think I see Patrick up there.
Patrick's up there, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
The float depicts a scene from their current play, Ransom of Red Chief, to be presented 27th, December 28th, and 29th over at Peoria Players, so you may want to check that out. Kidnappers Bill and Sam are holding Red Chief, hoping that her widowed mother will come up with the ransom money.
This float was built by the board of directors of the Community Children's Theater and parents of the children who are in the cast, and they're having a good time.
They're
They're
singing Jingle
serenading us
Bells.
now. It's a great show. If you don't have your tickets, make sure you can call Peoria Players Theater and see if there are tickets left. Again, the performance is the 27th, 28th, and 29th of December.
Boy, another colorful float here in central Illinois. Wow, who's this? Is this a bear of good
Looks like
tidings?
a bear of good tidings to me. My goodness.
Almost can't keep up with him here. Giving our cameras some fits.
Also, the kids are having a couple of fits there as he got real close to them.
Who's
Looks
that cycle rider?
I'd say that's probably Fearless Fred Scheffler. What do you think?
I think you're right.
Yeah, that's Fearless Fred.
Nikki and Annie were carrying the banners there. By the way, interesting note, that bear's head was formed by adding fiberglass to an old motorcycle helmet. Fred served 6 months in support of Operation Desert Storm, and we salute him for that. And the motorcycle trick riding, this bear has fallen out of a tree on this rider, and he has decided to be a bear of good tidings.
That is really cute, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is difficult to do, I'll tell you.
Boy, he is doing some great wheelies on that
I'm
end.
trying to figure out who belongs to what here. That is cute. Kids are really enjoying that too. Merry Christmas from our Southside Bank main office.
Coming up next, it will soon be that time, my friends, the night before Christmas. And Rick and Ashley Robbins are on that, and I see Chad Robbins and I think Madison Robbins. The whole Robbins clan is on there.
Family's on there today, I think.
And there they are waving to the crowd.
Nightgown on?
They have their long PJs on. That's probably a good idea because despite the warm weather, it's pretty windy up here today.
It sure
And
is.
I'm sure riding on that parade float would still be nice to have a little insulated PJs today. Big smiles on their faces. They're enjoying themselves.
Good time.
Well, Diane, we heard from Woodruff. We've heard from several bands today. We heard from Peoria Central, and now we're going south to the south side of Peoria, where the award-winning Manual High School Marching Rams hail from. There are 72 members of this group. Band's directed by Mr. George Graves, Jr. Drum major is Anthony Hendricks, and the manual solo twirler is Wendy Clark. Beautiful orange and black uniforms, and let's give them a listen.
Hurry, come get that ball. Get the head on.
We should mention in 1990, the Rams marched in 2 Mardi Gras parades down in New Orleans. In 1986, they received first in the Peoria Santa Parade. In 1987, they also took first place in the 100th Santa Parade. Quite an honor, because what a memorable parade that was. And in 1988, they received second in the Peoria Santa and the Morton Pumpkin Festival Parade, and the awards go on and on and on.
This is also the 45th year that Manual High School has had a band in the Santa Claus Parade. George Graves, Jr., of course, is the director of that group. Spiffy costumes, orange and black. Their motto, always strive to do your best. And I think we're witnessing that right here today. And again, the judges have a very difficult time today trying to determine the best floats, the best bands, the best novelty units, that sort of thing. And you've heard today the competition here.
Diane, we're looking at the Elkmobile from Wildlife Prairie Park. And, of course, this is the... They've been in the parade for some time. The Elkmobile, a life-size fiberglass elk with real elk. Those are real elk antlers that were on there. They, of course, have taken awards, too. First prize in the Steamboat Parade. But coming up next, the trolley bus from our good friends at GP Transit. On board GP's Transit Peoria Trolley today is Peoria Blind People Center Chorus singing Christmas carols today. And we appreciate them being with us this year as well.
The trolley zooming around downtown all the time, Bob. You know, you can ride the trolley for just a quarter. Not much of a better deal than that, will you find?
That's for sure. Kind of like a ride of nostalgia there. Riding.
It sure was.
That's for sure.
They're having a good time.
This is the Peoria County Sheriff's Posse from Peoria County Sheriff's Department. And, of course, they always are participants in our parade, riding those horses today.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from everyone at Southside Bank. There's the Pabst wagon hitch coming.
Boy, they're going
into
by so
group
quickly
here.
here.
Boy, are they moving. Woo!
Those horses are in a hurry there
You're not
today.
kidding, they're in a hurry. Jim Miller, the driver of the hitch there. Al Warren, manager of RJ Distributing and Friends. Nice to have them. Beautiful float. Gorgeous horses. My goodness.
Uh-oh. And here we are, the man we've been waiting for the last hour and a half, ladies and gentlemen. The hit, the star of the parade, as always, for the last 104 years. There he is, good old St. Nick himself, Santa Claus. He was
Look at the kids go crazy, Bob.
He was on last night, a little preview, plugging the parade today, and believe me, he was in great style last night. He and Mrs. Claus had just come back from having Thanksgiving dinner, and he was stuffed to the gills. But here he is again this year to wish us all a Merry Christmas.
Santa Claus. Look at the
Hey,
Hi,
hi, Santa. Of course, Santa Claus, what everybody has been waiting for today, looking marvelous.
He sure is. Santa Claus is saying Merry Christmas to everyone out there. There, let's hear Santa. Welcome,
Hi, little
Santa.
Bobby. Hi, Diane. How are you?
Just fine, Santa.
Boy, I'll tell you, everybody said I lost a little weight. I think it's the heat. I think I dropped about 50 pounds coming down the street here.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't too bad, though. With all the construction, I only had to wave on one side of the street. Hey, it's really good to be here again this year. What's this, 104 now?
Yeah.
104.
104. Southside Bank's still with us, aren't they?
Yes.
34
Good.
years.
You know, I was thinking about that. That's one thing that Santa Claus doesn't do at the North Pole, and that's a second mortgage. So go down and see my favorite little elf, Pat. Hey, guys, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Merry Christmas
Santa.
to everybody
Santa.
out there. Nathan, Nicole, Courtney, Carly, Bobby, Jimmy, Tommy, oh, so many. Merry Christmas.
Oh, thank you, Santa. And, of course, obviously, Santa Claus, the big hit of the parade, the thing that everybody has been waiting for here in central Illinois. He didn't forget our good buddy either, Pat Ward from the Southside Bank. Santa, thank you for being with
I
us
think
again
Santa's
today.
also trying to tell us that he appreciates the weather to get him into town here today. No delays because of the weather.
Yeah, he
A couple
said
of years, boy, he's worried about it.
He said he lost a little weight this year because of the warmth.
Yes.
He comes prepared, see? He comes prepared for the cold weather. But anyway, Santa Claus, of course, means the end of another great parade here in central Illinois. But you know, Diane, I must tell you that the judges, have just slipped us the information regarding who won the various different awards and so forth. And so let's just run down a few of these awards, okay? And for the Elf Award, the Best Novelty Unit, this is in the float division now, we say congratulations to the memorable ornaments on parade, the Lawn Ornament Brigade. You recall that one?
They won. They said coming into the parade they planned to win this somehow this year.
Determination was the best thing because they did win today. We also tip our hats to the best commercial entry over 25 feet long, and that went to federal companies. We also wish to acknowledge the best nonprofit entry over 25 feet, and that went to the Buddha Child's Dream, the Tricentennial Float. The best nonprofit entry under 25 feet, that was over 25 feet. Under 25 feet went to Peace on the Prairie. And the best new entry this year went to the Build a Child's Dream, of course, the depiction of the Tricentennial, which we are involved in this year. And the Santa Award, the best overall unit, went again, and this is a big award because this is Santa's award.
That's right.
This went to the Build a Child's Dream from the Tricentennial. So congratulations to all of those winners. And there he is, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jim Snyder from Banner, Illinois, who bravely rode atop, there he is waving to everybody, who bravely rode on top of Jefferson Street today to give us those great aerial shots. Jim, thank you very much. That was a great perspective today.
Russell's Tree Service, too,
Yeah.
from Tremont, Illinois. I think he's a pilot. He likes it.
Yeah, just leave him up there all day. I think he's starting to feel like a bird up there perched over Jefferson Street.
I think he really caught Santa Claus's eye. Did you notice? First time I've ever seen Santa Claus do a double take when he saw him hanging over the middle of the street looking at him.
He's used to going into high places with that reindeer, but even today he was overdone by Jim Snyder, who was a little bit higher up off the street, but certainly gave us a good perspective of the bands and many of the units coming down the street. The weather cooperated. It was just super.
Perfect. And here comes the sun again. Not a drop of rain. I was quite concerned that about 11 o'clock in the morning, we might be sitting here with umbrellas. I brought my golf umbrella.
Of course,
Don't golf, but I have a golf umbrella.
Our good friend Chuck M is over there on camera one, who, of course, helped us get those street side shots of what was going on as well. And I think if we ever get a shot of her, Tina was also doing her thing today. She was at the station last night, and Tina was another part of our great engineering staff here today. We can't say enough about them. While many of us were enjoying Thanksgiving dinner yesterday, there's Tina. Tina, you did a fine job. They were down here early this morning and getting everything prepared so that we could present this telecast. And again, guys and gals, hats off to our fine engineering staff, who, of course, always bring this thing off without a hitch, and we appreciate their help and want to acknowledge them especially.
As we told you several times, the bands were judged as they went through the parade today. The judges stand this time around located down on Monroe Street between Fayette and Jackson. So they had to pass another reviewing stand as well in order to for the judges to take a look at them. And if we could, I'd like to tell you who the winners are there. In the junior high and grade school competition, first place, Concordia Lutheran.
Well, what do you know?
Excellent job.
Yep.
Second place goes to Roosevelt, and third place, Pioneer Junior High School. Congratulations to all of those youngsters. In the Class CD competition this year, Havana High School won it, and second place, we mentioned Roanoke Benson. First year that we've had them in the parade. That band was just formed 6 years ago, so they haven't had a lot of time to work together. First time that they have been in the parade here, and they are going to go back to Roanoke Benson very proud with a second place award.
And I'm sure we can convince them to come back next year, especially when they walk away with an award.
Especially now that they've got an award. We'll just say you've got to come back. Third place goes to Henry Senatchewan. Of course, young people from the Henry Senatchewan High School have been with us for several years, and I'm sure that we'll be seeing them again. And in Class A, Class AA. Well, are you ready?
Yeah, okay. Give it to me.
Woodruff High School, first place again.
Well, congratulations to Mary Jo.
Absolutely outstanding. Second place this year, the Manual High School Marching Rams. Third place goes to Peoria High School. And the grand champion traveling trophy, and this is something that is brand new this year.
We'll do a little drum roll here. Okay.
Yeah, we should be doing a little bit of a drum roll here. A new award, and this really is the big award as well. Woodruff High School. What can we say? Mary Jo Papish, all of the people at Woodruff High School, all the teachers, the students, everybody at that school definitely should be proud, because they certainly showed us today just how absolutely outstanding they are. They're going to finish up the parade here. Everybody's going down to the Courthouse Plaza right now, and of course they'll turn on the lights down there.
And that really gets us, after Santa has appeared and we turn on those courthouse lights, we really know then that Christmas has begun in Central Illinois, at least the Christmas season here in Central Illinois. We want to mention too, and I know we mentioned this earlier, that the Woodruff High School Band, well, now they are not going to take any time off. They will rest up a little bit tonight, and then of course head to Chicago tomorrow to be part of the Christmas parade up there tomorrow.
Yeah, they will be marching the Brock's Christmas Parade in downtown Chicago. Remember, a couple of months ago, there was even some question as to whether or not Chicago would have a Christmas parade this year, because they ran into some money problems, and about a month ago, the Brock's, of course, candy company came forward and said, yes, you cannot have Chicago and no Chicago Christmas parade. So they will have their parade, and Woodruff will be up there doing their thing. And of course, Peoria High School, the Lions, they're going to be heading down the day after Christmas. They'll be doing their stuff as well. And again, these high school bands really represent the city of Peoria very, very well all over the country. The other bands do the same thing, but it's nice to see that they have been selected for such great honors. So we mentioned this new band competition. It's a new traveling trophy, Bob. It's sponsored by Money Center 24. It will go, this trophy, which Woodruff has won, it will be awarded first and second prize. They will keep the trophy. The next year, everybody will be battling to see who can win this, because this is really a big honor. And this year, it's being sponsored by the Peoria County Board for the 1990 competition. So our hats off to everyone out there, Money Center 24, and the Peoria County Board as well, for adding this nice new touch, the traveling trophy.
I think the traveling trophy adds that one thing that we mentioned before, which there is a lot of amongst these bands, and that's competition. It's like going for the gold type of thing, and it's a real honor to have that in your show or your trophy case. And so that traveling award, obviously there's going to be a big battle from each year for one particular band to walk home with that one.
That's true. And of course, again, in the junior high school, grade school competition, it was Concordia again this year who took first place. In this Class CD, it was Havana. Class AA, it was Woodruff High School. We congratulate all of those people.
Well, as you take a look now, you see Santa Claus hanging there from the lamppost, obviously one of the decorations in downtown Peoria. The real McCoy is making his way down to the Courthouse Plaza even as we speak at this particular hour to, with 60-degree temperatures. I tell you, it's going to be a pleasant day down the Courthouse Plaza for the traditional lighting of the lights. And, of course, what will make things a little bit more special this year as well, of course, this year, as many of you already know, we have lights lit along the Murray Baker Bridge.
That's right. It should be beautiful.
Yeah, this should really add to it as we get into the holiday season. And, of course, they also have lights over here for the City Hall
The City Hall Christmas tree will be lit as well. And I guess officially the season has kicked off here in Central Illinois as the 104th Central Illinois Santa Claus Parade is now finishing up down at the Peoria County Courthouse. Mayor Maloof will be down there. Lots of the participants in the parade turning on the courthouse lights. We certainly want to thank all of you for joining us here today. And on behalf of all of our friends down at Southside Bank, certainly wishing you and yours a very happy and joyous holiday season.
Okay, happy holidays, everybody, and we'll see you back here next year.
Happy holidays.
The 104th Santa Claus Parade has been brought to you by Southside Bank, a full-service bank dedicated to the community. Southside Bank invites you to stop in at any one of our 5 convenient locations to help you with your banking needs. As your neighbors, we at Southside Bank would like to wish everyone a safe and happy holiday season.